Book 101 is all about the bookstore read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the author of the book Shut Up and Grind, no other than Mr. Robert B. Foster.
We doing?
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Robert, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yes. So full time, I manage a gym. That's my first source of income. But I'm also a speaker, a podcast host, and I'm now a published author of, as pictured on the screen, of Shut Up and Grind, where it's a how-to guide of how to navigate your life stories, and people can become better connectors, better leaders. They can go on to write their own books, blog, become speakers themselves. Because a lot of people get stuck in that hamster wheel because their life stories aren't defined. And this book is a step-by-step guide. It's like actually interactive. There's 13 worksheets built into the book to help people master their personal stories.
Mr. Robert B. Foster, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. What inspired you to write about overcoming self doubt and public speaking specifically?
So when COVID happened in 2020 and the gyms were shut down, like I had always wanted to get into speaking, but as I joined various Zoom groups, I noticed a lot of people struggled with introducing themselves. So like people would say, tell us a little bit about yourself, and a lot of people were like, uh, So I started a group called Speak About Yourself Out Loud to help people talk about themselves, in those settings. And just the more that I did that, I found that people just really don't know how to express themselves. Like they can talk about their jobs, they can talk about a movie, they can talk about their significant other, but when it came to talking about themselves, I find a lot of people struggle with that. And that was the main inspiration of writing the book.
And congratulations in sharing to the world. How did you come up with the concept of shut up and grind?
So a lot of that stems from growing up. My father was an engineer and he could build anything. He could do anything. And just watching him work, if he had his mind set on something, he was going to make it happen. And just growing up with that as an example, it just transferred over to us. I'm the youngest of seven. And it was just the way we were pushed. We were always taught to never settle. Like if you want to be good, you got to get to work. If you want to excel, you got to get to work. And I find now in my adult life that a lot of people are just settling for whatever cards life gives them, but they have something else on the tip of their tongue that they would rather be doing. And this book will help them get over that hump and to escape that normal and get after what it is they actually want to do.
Indeed, Mr. Robert. Can you share your personal experience dealing with self doubt and fear of public speaking?
Yeah, so when I first got into fitness, I mean, I was in the restaurant industry for over 20 years. So as I started transitioning into fitness, it's like I've always been an athlete, but I didn't know the business of fitness. So it's one of those things like, will I be able to excel in that realm? Like I got in the restaurant industry as a young teenager. I was 13, so like that was all I knew. And so that little bit of imposter syndrome kicked in at first, but then once I immersed myself in it, I found that's exactly where I belong.
Well, interesting. Mr. Robert, interesting indeed. Why do you think public speaking remains one of people's greatest fears?
Because it's fear. People are afraid of being judged. They're afraid to reconcile with things from their past or face things that they went through in the past. They're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of being ridiculed. They're afraid of messing up and embarrassing themselves. But that goes back to what I stated earlier about mastering your personal stories. Like, I've been through good, I've been through bad, I've been through ugly, and I can talk about all three of them. Because I've reconciled with the things that I've been through. Things that I've done, things that I've said. It's like you just have to own it. But a lot of people, they have their representative on, and they're not really being their true authentic self. So when you're your authentic self, you don't fear those other things, because that is just who you are as a person. And then once you come to grips with who you are as a person, then there's nothing to fear.
What are the common myths about public speaking that you book address?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What are the common myths about public speaking that your book address?
Well, this book addresses everything. I mean, one of the biggest myths is that people say, I don't have a story, but everyone does. Like, everyone's been through something at some point in their life. Just because they don't think it's a big story or it can impact someone else, and then they hold back in that regard. And like, my stories span from being told I would never run a jump again, to donating a kidney to my sister, to being doubted by my high school track coach, to be doubted by my own siblings. It's like, and those different stories and different circumstances can be relevant to someone's life. Like, I also coach high school track and field, and I would tell those kids about being doubted by my track coach and how I was able to overcome that. And I went on to leave high school with three track and field records, that stood for over two decades. And so this book is about redefining who you are, or reestablishing, I should say, who you are. Because for a lot of people, somewhere in life, they get knocked off the road that they're meant to be on. Like, I'm sure you see this in your own travels, where people are in a career, they're in a field, or they have a degree in something that's sucking the life out of them, because they know deep down that they were meant for more, but they got thrown off of that path. So this book will help them get back on that path.
Redefining yourself, people. What's the very first step someone should take to conquer self doubt about speaking publicly?
Well, they have to do a current assessment of themselves. It's like, what do you want to talk about? Why do you want to talk about it? Who needs to hear that message? How passionate are you about that topic? And once you have those four dialed in, then you can go ahead and start pulling from your subconscious mind all those stories that are just lying there dormant, that you may have forgotten about. Because even as I was writing the book, I was uncovering things from my own past that I long forgot about. So once you do that initial assessment and you figure out who needs to hear what you have to say, because people always say, I want to heal the world, like, I want to hear the world. And you can't just have a magic brush. Like, some people are going to listen to me now and be like, wow, that guy's a genius. Somebody else is going to listen to me and be like, that guy's way off base. So, like, you can't appeal, right? You can't appeal to everyone. So having your topic defined and having your audience defined are two huge steps in overcoming the fear of public speaking. Like, if you asked me to talk about neuroscience right now, I'd be the dumbest guy in the room. I don't know anything about neuroscience, but we talk about fitness, health and wellness. We talk about mental health, overcoming obstacles, defying the odds. I'm readily available to talk on any stage about those topics. So it's about speaking on something that you're well versed in, and more importantly, it's better to connect with people if it's something you've been through.
Very well said, Mr. Robert. Beautifully articulated.
Thank you.
How did you overcome setbacks or personal fears in your own public speaking journey?
It's all about that first stage. It's like getting that very first one. That's where you got the butterflies in the stomach. Like, this was in, I think it was 16 or 17. I was at a fitness business summit out in California. And this was my second time there. I won a scholarship to the event in 2014. So I got to go up and share my story. There was 1,000 people there. And like, I never really had the fear of public speaking, but I've also never spoken in front of that many people before. So when I got up on the stage, it was just like, wow, because like all eyes were on me. But at the end of the talk, now there were some big names there in the fitness world. And you may know Lewis Howes. He was one of the guest speakers there as well. So you have all these big names. And as we were breaking for lunch, there was a guy that was walking towards me. And I was just going to go around. I didn't really know he was coming to talk to me. But he's like, out of everyone who spoke, he's like, what you said resonated with me the most. And that's where it's like, it's not about blowing the minds of all 1,000 people, but there's people in that room that need to hear exactly what you have to say. And then once, as a speaker, once you realize that, it's like, I don't have to captivate the entire room. If I can captivate 10, we can change those 10 people's lives. And then you start realizing that it's not just about you.
Why do you emphasize grinding as a necessary part of overcoming fears and self-doubt?
Well, because people stay in self-doubt when they're not taking action, right? It's like, I always say, there's problem on one side, there's solution on the other side. Doubt, depression, fear, anxiety, all hangs out in the middle, right? So if you're going through something, you have to keep going through it. It's like, you can't just stop and let it consume you. Like action is the number one killer of fear. Like if you take action and you're persistent, fear can't keep up. Self-doubt can't keep up. None of that stuff can keep up. So if you have your eyes on the prize, you have a clear vision of what it is you want to do, you have an action plan, and you work that action plan every day, then all that other stuff can't fester because you're grinding towards that goal.
How do you suggest readers build lasting confidence rather than a temporary relief?
Well, that's having that long-term vision. Because like, I'll even use fitness as an example. Like if people come in and they say, all right, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months. It's like, okay, so what happens on day 61? Like what happens then? So like we want to set goals to where, it's important to have smaller goals along the way, but you need the big goal defined first. Like for me, I'm 50 and I want the ability to retire by 55. So I work like a dog all day long. And so when 55 comes, I'll probably still work, but I want to be able to walk away if I wanted to. And so that's my big goal. But then I work on weekly goals, monthly goals, daily goals, and you keep yourself immersed in that. And when you do that, then the outside world can't shake you. Like I tell people, become unbreakable. And when you're that dialed in, there's literally nothing that can knock you off course.
Are there specific daily habits that reinforce confidence and reduce self-doubt?
So right here on my phone is my alarm. My alarm is a video of me reminding me what my goals are. And when I tell people that, a lot of them are like, I didn't know you could do that. It's like, yeah, you can pull it up. I disable snooze. And the first thing I hear in the morning is, wake up. You got lives to change. You got people to counting on you. Get out of bed. Let's go. Like, that's what I wake up to every single day. And so as many reminders as people can give themselves, because in this internet social media world, it's very easy to get distracted. So if you can start your morning reminding yourself what it is you're working towards, then again, the day can't get away from you because you're waking up prepared and focused.
Mr. Robert, what will be your short-term and long-term goals in writing?
So this was the first book. So I'm good. Like I haven't done a full launch of this one yet, but I plan on writing another one, and it's gonna be like an extension of this one, but it's just gonna go deeper into mastering your personal stories. So whenever people go through, a lot of people talk about what happened to them. Like I can talk about watching my father pass away. It's like that's the what happened, but that's not the full story. The story is the hour after, the day after, the week after, the month after, and expanding on the what happened. That's where the power is in the stories. And when people come on to my podcast, that's all I do is I just pick apart their backstory and we expand on it. Because like say if you have $1 million business and you got someone who signs in to watch the podcast and they're struggling, right? They don't want to hear your $1 million nonsense. Like they want to hear how you built that up. Like so you got to put yourself in their shoes and then expand upon the story. So the second book is going to be more detailed in how to expand the story.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Robert, and looking forward for more and more and more empowering books like this. And what would be
Thank you.
your advice for those people out there struggling in public speaking?
To just get started, to simply get started. Like if you're terrified of speaking, you're terrified because you're currently not speaking. Right? It's like if I go back to my first, right? If I go back to my first 10 podcast episodes and watch those, they don't flow anything like my last 10 episodes. Like I've done 343 now. And you just have to get started. It's not going to be perfect. Like going back to my track and field athletes, like we had a bunch of kids try to long jump the other day. I said, you guys have to keep in mind, this is new for you. You're not going to be good at it yet. Okay, said you have to learn the sport. There's a lot that goes into it. Speaking is the same way. When you first start, you might a lot. You might say a lot, or you're gonna have your filler words. Like everybody has their filler words. But the more you do it, and the more you're able to be vulnerable and authentic, then your story is gonna naturally flow. But you have to get started. It's like if you want to ride a skateboard, right? You have to ride a skateboard. You're gonna fall. You got to get back up and get back on it. You're gonna fall. You got to get back up and get back on it. And speaking is no different. Just the more you do it, the more in touch with your stories you get, the better speaker you're gonna become.
Yes, people, don't afraid to commit mistakes or failure
Yes.
because those make you perfect, or in the process it will be you make you better. What common mistake people make when attempting to overcome public speaking anxiety?
The common mistake is not being their authentic self. Is they come up and they trying to write a script. And I have nothing against writing scripts, because some people need that. But when you speak from the heart, right, when it just flows, like I don't have any notes in front of me. Like you ask me questions, I speak from the heart. My stories are defined. I know which ones to use in which situation, and that's the mistake that people make. Like I said, they try to be everything to everyone, and you can't. It's like some people don't like the shut up and grind mentality. Some people don't like that, but that's okay because there's a lot that do, and you just have to embrace the fact that not everyone is going to embrace your style, but you have to be you. I show up as me. Like I got told by a speaker coach that I wouldn't be taken seriously as a speaker if I show up in a tank top, but I'm an athlete and I'm a fitness coach, right? This is my authentic
Mhm.
self. This is what I wear every day. If I showed up in a shirt and a tie, like I can't tell you the last time I put on a shirt and a tie. It's ages ago, So showing up as your authentic self and the best version of yourself, that's how you're going to become a better speaker because you got to be comfortable being you.
Mr. Robert Foster, very well said. Very
Thank you.
well said.
I love that.
How can readers measure their progress in reducing fear and self doubt?
So measuring the progress. So as I stated, within the book, there's 13 worksheets, right? And I'll just go over a couple of them here. So like the very first one is there's nothing wrong with you. because a lot of people think that there's something wrong with them. So that's the first one. And then it talks about how I overcame my knee injury, how the pain of your past is fuel for a better future, prioritizing yourself without the guilt. What to do before setting a goal for yourself. So in going through this book, you're going to be fully defined. It's like the first, I mean, there's a little bit about the things that I've gone through, but everything that I've gone through, this is how I got through it. Like, this isn't something I learned in a book. Like, these are things I actually did, and I'm not knocking education, but these are things that I've actually lived through. And I give those real world occurrences, and I put them into the worksheets to help people break down their personal stories, because that's what speaking is. You get on stage and you're sharing your personal stories, and you got to figure out what that goal is. So when I speak, the big takeaway that I want people to have is you can do it. Is to erase those little voices. Like, that's where the shut up comes from. It's those little voices telling you you're not good enough, you're not brave enough, you're not talented enough, you're not good looking enough. You gotta silence those voices, zero in on what it is you want to do, and then persevere till you get there.
Yes, people, just do it and let it go. Are there ways to harness nervousness or fear to actually enhance public speaking performance?
Yes, when you make it about something bigger than you. See, that's where people go wrong. It's like you're nervous because you're worried about you. What if I make a mistake? What if I this? What if I that? Don't worry about you. You got to worry about your audience. You got to show up for your audience. Like, what are their pains, and how is your talk going to ease their pain or get them on a path to easing that pain? So when you make it about them, now you have to show up. You have to show up boldly. That's like if you go to the gym, it might be a little different if you bring a friend with you to the gym, right? Because when you're by yourself, you can cut out that last set. If you're there with a friend, you're probably not going to cut out that last set, because now it's about more than just you. So that's my advice for that, is like you have to show up for the audience. Like, it's not about you, it's about them.
It's about them, people. So go for it. So,
Yes.
Mr. Robert, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to one of my audiobooks, people. Audiobooks, Book 101 Review, Volume 3 Suggestions, Book 101 Review, Volume 2 Selected, and Book 101 Review, Volume 1 Highly Recommended. These are the product of my
Okay.
first season on Book 101 Review, and of course, my self help book, Threads of Existence, Weaving the Tapestry of Life. Stand tall, stand together, breaking the chains of bullying, and life is too short. A
Oh, nice.
journey of discovery, fulfillment, and joy. And of course, my climate change book, Earth Fever, Unraveling Climate and Our Race to Restore Balance. Available on Audible
Nice.
and one of the best sellers. So, Mr. Robert, what's one key takeaway you hope readers embrace after reading your book? Shut up and
that
grind.
that this story matters. Like, it doesn't have to be some major thing. It that's one of the things I hear the most when I'm talking with people. It's like, oh, my story's not interesting. It's like, no, it's like you're not telling it in an interesting way. Like, if I can give a quick example, I know what we're almost at time, but I was on a Zoom call with three women. One of the women, she witnessed her high school sweetheart unalive himself. The other one survived a heart attack and a stroke in the same year at the age of 34. So now the third one was like, "Oh, my story's nothing compared to theirs." And I'm like, "Well, let's hear it." And so long story short, her family grew up in the inner city. Her father got a promotion in his job. They were able to move out of the city, and she fell in love with nature. So now she goes back to inner city schools, and she puts in like a outdoor learning environment with nature, because a lot of cities there's not many trees and stuff. And I was like, what are you talking, like, that is absolutely amazing. And I helped her reframe that entire story because that really is an amazing thing. Like, it doesn't have to be some major life-altering, death-defying story. So something like that, you're giving kids access to something that they normally wouldn't have access to. So just believe that you have a story and your story matters.
Definitely, Mr. Robert B. Foster. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. And we are looking for more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your Shut Up and Grind?
Yes, so you can find the book on Amazon, shutupandgrindbook.com. You can find the podcast. I live stream it. So if you want to catch a live stream, it's on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can just search for Robert B. Foster. And my website's under construction, but it's robertbfoster.com.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Robert Foster as an author, as a podcaster, because if you support him, more and more and more empowering books to come, more and more and more empowering episodes to come. So, Mr. Robert B. Foster, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bodycom people, see you soon.